It has been over a week since we received the Criminal Enterprises DLC, and today I wanted to go over my thoughts for this DLC and give a review on the negatives and positives, because trust me, there is a lot of negatives to this DLC. As always, comment your own thoughts below and what you enjoyed about this DLC and also what you're not a fan of. And with all that being said, let's get started. To start this video off on a negative tone, I'm going to be discussing my least favourite thing about the Criminal Enterprises DLC, and my biggest complaint with this DLC is the drip feed. Don't get me wrong, we have always received drip feed content in GTA Online, and there's nothing wrong with drip feed in general. It keeps players coming back and wanting to play the game. That's why on most DLCs, we receive a couple vehicle releases to us on a weekly basis, but that can't be far from the truth with the Criminal Enterprises DLC. Rockstar took drip feed to a whole different level with this DLC in my opinion. Like I said, drip feed is totally fine. I'm happy with a couple vehicles being dished out a few weeks after an update, but this time it's not just vehicles. It's entire content. Usually we get 5 or 6 vehicles drip fed to us, but no, not this time. We are getting 12 vehicles. Yes, 12 vehicles drip fed to us, and that's not the problem however. We are also getting weapons drip fed and entire new properties drip fed. This wouldn't be a problem if they didn't promote these items as part of the DLC. They made people think from trailers and newswires that we were going to be getting an amazing new vehicle showroom and a new rifle, but instead they leave it to release a week or two later. Don't promote content for a DLC that isn't going to be there day one at launch. It gets people overhyped for something that isn't going to be there and makes many players confused as to why you would promote a new weapon for it to not exist in the update. Hopefully you guys are understanding my point. You can't just lock an entirely new vehicle showroom behind drip feed. It's just annoying. Anyway, that's my biggest hate for this DLC. Trust me, there's many more to come, but I thought I'd start off with the worst. Okay, let's switch the tone to something a little more positive. The only good thing about this DLC, and most DLCs, are vehicles, and that's exactly what kept the Criminal Enterprises DLC in my good books. The vehicles are always so well made and fun to customize and drive, and the same thing applies with this DLC. You have to give credit where credit is due. Rockstar Games does a really good job at the vehicle models with GTA Online DLCs, and this time they did an even better job, although like I said at the beginning, most of the vehicles are drip fed. Fun fact, we received the smallest amount of new vehicles at launch with this DLC. 6 new vehicles is a joke, and 12 yet to be released. Jesus. Besides that though, Rockstar makes each and every vehicle almost identical to their real life counterparts, and it's awesome. They always do a good job on vehicles, we can't deny that. Now I will warn you, this entire video is mostly negative points. Okay, now the new ULP missions. This may come across as a controversial take, but I don't care. The new missions were at best a 5 out of 10, and that's being nice. These missions felt extremely rushed and just not story driven. The whole aspect of the missions was to be an IAA agent, and for me, when I was first doing these missions, I didn't feel that way at all. It felt like a part 2 to the Doomsday heist. Everything felt copy and pasted and just not new at all. I mean, that is basically true. To me, these missions felt lazy. I miss the old Rockstar that would be creative and fun with new missions, creating entirely new maps and interiors for new DLCs, but with these missions, everything was re-skinned of an existing location, and like I said, it all felt old and something I had already seen before. There was nothing of value doing these missions, not only the payout being ridiculously low, even on double money, but the whole storyline, it felt like I'd been there before during Doomsday. And don't even get me started on the enemy AI. They became even more accurate when shooting and somehow even more OP. I'm not going to sit here and say I enjoy these missions because I genuinely didn't, and that's the truth. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the business changes. First of all, the ability to do business activities inside of private sessions is great, but I mean, come on Rockstar, you don't have to make a fully fleshed out content update to make changes like this. At best, these changes should have been implemented into a small scale patch, not an entire DLC. However, the business changes, I will admit, are very welcoming and needed. It's a nice breakaway from the actual business activities themselves, and a small side way of making cash. The ability to sell weapon parts with the bunker for a small amount of money is nice, but probably the best change of all for the executive special warehouses. Being able to have staff source crates for you while you can also source crates is a great idea, and it helps grinders fill up their businesses a lot better. Overall, the vehicles and business changes is what kept this DLC above a 4 out of 10. They really saved this DLC. On the topic of changes, let's talk about the quality of life updates and improvements. Okay, hear me out. While there are tons of changes and updates which have been much needed, I'm sorry, but this wasn't worth a whole DLC. Having some quality of life changes as your main selling point to a DLC is terrible. simple. Half of the changes in this update were from existing updates instead of new content, and while some people say that's a good thing, I disagree. Let's take a game such as Fortnite, an entirely different game to GTA Online obviously, but in terms of updates, Fortnite usually has something new and different every month. For example, a new gun or a new skin or a new map change. This helps to keep players coming back and playing without the need for huge events and new seasons, and that's what it was needed to happen this time around. These quality of life changes should have been implemented into a small update during the month, and then leading into a non-rushed and better planned out DLC. Those are my thoughts. Anyway, let me know if I don't sound crazy. Anyway guys, that's everything I have to say. I just forgot actually, the precision rifle, one of the worst guns ever made. Why was that even an idea? What were they thinking when they made that weapon? Rockstar needs to genuinely think about weapon design in GTA Online because it sucks lately. They can't make any good weapons. We don't want some crappy weapon that shoots 5 bullets and then doesn't kill anyone. We want a good gun. Jesus. Okay, there we have it. That's everything I needed to say. This was my honest and overall review of the Criminal Enterprises DLC. This DLC was well overdue and was needed years ago, and what would I rate this DLC out of 10? Honestly, I would give it a 5. Let me know what you would rate it down below, and with all that being said, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and drop a like on this video, and as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you all later.